appreciate their good research and innovation products. But there's one issue I want to pose among them, all of them at the same time. The good research products you generate, and especially within the academians, how do you make sure that they reach the public sector, and especially within the low-level operators? Then the other issue, in your corporate institutions, and how do you link up, and especially to create awareness with these good products within the socio-economic dimensions? How do you support startups, especially? Because the team you mentioned that you're working with are all bigger institutions. How do you reach at the grassroots level, at least to communicate the same, to disseminate the information? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do you want to take that before we take the next question? Who wants to respond to him? Doctor, do you mind responding?
Yeah, thank you, Jesse. Those are extremely difficult questions. How do you ensure the research reach public? Because I have a very strong suspicion that, in your opinion, no products actually reach public, maybe very little, and that may be a fact. I'll actually combine the two questions with how you support startups. Because what I know in probably universities like Strathmore is a bit different. The philosophy is very different there because I've worked there. But our public universities, a lot needs to be done because support of research, development, and innovation is extremely costly. But our universities have not prioritized this type of budget. I remember we were 3 people who struggled with an innovation lab between the year 2017 and 2020. So what we would do is, at the final year of electrical engineering students, they would develop prototypes, which are very exciting. And then we would try to source for funds to support this, because a prototype by a student is not ready to interact with the user. It has to be enhanced with more reliable components. Then it can now be given out to user, and that is part of research, of market study. And that is costly, because you have to look for people who would use it, distribute it, keep monitoring what their opinion is. They use quality, then this is taken back to the lab to enhance, and it's a cycle that can go on before a final product is able then to be released. That is extremely costly, and global North universities know where to put their money because they've learned the benefit of it 15 years down the line. Our infrastructure for doing that is still low. I'll be frank. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Would you like to add?
Yes. So for the first question on the research products, so as Knights and Apps, we engage with research centers such as Strathmore, as Ignatius had mentioned earlier. So when you collaborate in these processes of getting these products, they are the ones actually who are certified to present the issues. Some of the projects also we've collaborated with GIZ, and after getting our feedback, they present the issue on our behalf. Another way in which, as a company, we've decided, or rather we iron out and share our issues, is we have the Emobility Association of Kenya that was formed to unite the mobility companies. So whenever we have discussions, there are proceedings, or rather, what is your company doing? What are you looking at? Is there any support you need? How do we get into maybe cabs, into CAM, so that we can smoothen the way? So those are some of the avenues, because as a company, you cannot just wake up with a product and channel it to be certified or something like that. So that is question one. Question two is how do we create awareness, and you are focused on the socio-economic development. So for any research that we do, actually it's an employment opportunity for the young graduates who are outside. So like everyone who works in our research and development department was onboarded. And basically, I'm proud to say for the e-mobility drive electric part, we've onboarded about 15 staff, and then separately from the taxi fleet, because it's a new venture. And as we continue, you find that there are some open areas that keep on attracting new personnel. We were looking at how do we map our charging points all over. And maybe based on the driver's data that we get, depending on the route maps they use for Uber and Bolt, how do we now map and see which are these strategic points we need to put? So that means we need a GIZ analyst to come in. So we onboarded. When we're talking about AI, we need our equipments to be very intelligent. We don't need to keep on tracking manually. So we also onboarded another AI person. So as we continue in this e-mobility aspect, you find that there are open areas and business development areas that attract now people into our mix. Another part is training. Basically, in as much as we have electrical team, there is a bit of induction that needs to be done for an electrician, in as much as, on the mobility side, in as much as you are a normal electrician. So we continuously train our staff. And for those who have come, sought support from Nights and Apps, I'm sure you're not disappointed. For those who've disappointed, we are sorry. But we try as much as possible to ensure we give feedback by the little training we get from different areas. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Do we have any other questions from the audience? We have two over there. Maybe we'll take one last one, depending on time. There.
Thank you for this. Thank you, the panelists. I think that has been very much insightful. I'm Engineer Opere Nyaroya, the Deputy Director, Motor Vehicle Inspections and TSA. I want to appreciate the research aspect of it. I wanted to pose this question to you, especially June. From them, is talks of repurposing, repairs and all that. Do you have, has there been any established regime on the inspection on EVs, electric vehicles inspection regime? Why do I ask that? As you are aware, from the Traffic Act Cap 4.3, it requires that all the vehicles 4 years old from the date of manufacture should undergo inspection to ascertain roadworthiness and environmental compliance in terms of emission, which I believe that part 2, the EVs are sorting already. But the part 1 of mechanical roadworthiness has to be ascertained, and this has to be physically done. Now, I've had a lot of research has gone to battery longevity and all those discharge, like you're saying, repurposing them. That is part of solving the purposes of waste management. But do you have, is there an established motor vehicle, electric vehicles inspection regime per se, which will be cascaded to all the vehicles, be they public service vehicles, commercial vehicles, school transport, all that? And that would be very great to us. And I would be glad to hear from you, even my friend Ignatius. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Let's just hold before you respond, the both of you. I think we have, okay. Go ahead. And then we'll take the two last questions from there.
Okay.
We're standing between this and cocktails, people.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I have 3 questions, but I'll be very brief because of time. But first I want to, I'm from Kenya Power. I'm Dr. Aden. At the same time, I'm in the union movement, Kenya Electrical Workers Union. I have heard from the panelists that they have been sufficient research, but more biased and focused to technology. And I agree with my colleague here who talked about battery reprocessing, improvement of facility, and etc. But I wanted to see also, maybe it can be a comment or question either, and I know most of you will allude to this. One, what are the socio-economic impact involving in the area of transition? Because let's agree this is a transition. And I know when we talk about transition, we are talking about, are we carrying aboard anybody who was there? Logically, we want to see the Manamba in downtown of Nairobi not losing job because of Emobility. Not, you know, the livelihood around the transport sector in Kenya, you know that 8.3% is within the GDP contribution of the transport sector. So that is one. Two, I know we talked about TVET and education institutions and academia. I'm one of the academias because I teach the University, Management University of Africa, School of Leadership. But there is a gap, and I know we all echo this very well, that are we ready for this transition again? That what is the difference between a conventional electrical engineer and an engineer that can, you know, plug into these electronic digital platforms that are changing over time? Is the ministries or the CUE also, or TVET regulators, are they in the right position to ensure that what is in the industry is what we are training our people to? You see that. I think there is a gap also in this area that we might not be very prepared. I like when June said that somebody has gone through the university 4 years, then he come for internship at his place. Imagine 4 years in academia doing electrical engineering, coming to June again for 2 or 3 months for internship. Then that will not be an academia or skill transfer, but rather adoption or introduction to technology. 3, and the last one. In the e-mobility, I know we are talking about innovation. And I know you echoed, Dr. Ojenge echoed also about the dilemma, you know, arising from innovation and adoption of technology. I know most of our youth in this country are very good in adopting technology than innovating. When we talk about a youth delivering food in a motorbike or motor vehicle, what do we call our bicycle, which is e-enabled or electrically charged, then we want to see institutions that are pioneering development of ideas, not user-based innovation. You know, we want to see Kenyans, as we go up, Kenyans who are sitting in a lab and, you know, talking about batteries being manufactured in Kenya, so that June can use the same batteries to power her vehicle. We want to see Kenyans who are sitting somewhere also talking about the same solar being assembled in this country. Not, we don't need to become more of consumer community than, you know, producing community. Thank you. I think we need to look at that angle. It might be a question and it might be a comment. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, one last question from the gentleman in blue, and then the rest of that, we have a networking hour. Feel free to interact with each of the panelists after this. Thank you. Final question from the gentleman there.
Okay, my name is Job Morara, and I'm a student pursuing electronics engineer. So I do have 2 questions, and the first one being, how do R&D efforts in predictive maintenance leverage things like sensor data and machine learning to anticipate component failures and also to optimize maintenance schedules to extend the service life of the electric vehicles and charging infrastructures? And the other thing is that, you know, you talk about the collaboration between the industry and the learning institutions. I know most of you will agree that not every university here in Kenya is like Strathmore. I've been to Strathmore just for a hackathon, and the facilities that they have, it's not standard across all the universities in Kenya. And I've been seeing students from Strathmore actually do go to places like Europe to exchange, just to exchange the learning and get the experience. So I was asking, could we see anything like having an exchange programs between universities here in Kenya? Maybe someone from Murang'a University like I am to maybe go to a place like Strathmore, and because they do have these research facilities, maybe I can also get exposed to the same kind of learning, so that when I go looking for a job maybe, or when I want to look for something like to innovate, I'm not like a second tier, maybe I'm not like, I'm not well suited like the student that's coming from Strathmore. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much. June, you have several questions that require answering. Let's keep them brief.
So thank you. I'll start with the last question on the collaboration of the industry and the learning institutions. You've talked about the exchange programs. They can still happen within the Kenyan context, because looking at Emobility so far, how many companies do we have? About 20 something? Or about 30. If we use even 30 or even more than 50, it means there's a lot of data. And the reason why I'm saying this, not all companies were founded in Kenya. Some they have affiliates in the other regions because they're trying to spread EV here. So it means the technology, or rather the information they are using in their countries, somehow those are some of the business secrets that they're using internally here. So what I would recommend is benchmarking. And from you as a student who's managed to attend this conference and you've borrowed one or two things, it's good to give feedback to your university lecturers in that they can write request letter for students at specific years to visit the industry for collaboration. And another request to the industry is that you accept and offer them an opportunity to come and see and touch, so that they can even relate to what is they're studying in class. Partnerships with the institution is possible, because I've seen one yesterday whereby a university was requesting us to actually partner with them. So it's possible. The next question, I'll pass one of your questions, the one for R&D, predictive and anticipative failures, that engineering, I'll leave for you. The policies are improving over time, and some of the questions you mentioned, sorry, I forgot your name, but don't mind. The task force was given a task to do several things, and when they were appointed in the 3rd of August 2023, they came up recently with some of the 7 areas they wanted us to focus on, and gave us opportunity as public to participate and give further feedback. So some of the issues to do with infrastructure improvement, if you talk about the fiscal incentives, you talk about the socio-economic aspect, if you want to talk about the legal framework, policy, they're all captured there, and they've given suggestions. What we hope is that once this thing is passed and it's ruled and it's supposed to work, let there be action. Otherwise, we'll not have done justice to ourselves. On the dual TVET program also, it's something that is happening. People are adopting, and it's easier from the TVET sector first, because I wonder how it works, but I'm looking at it and seeing that they are eager, or they are quick to change in terms of curriculum as compared to the universities. But we hope that when they see an influence in the TVET program dual, they're going to adopt it in the university in one way or another. I hope so. The socio-economic impacts that some of these solutions we are providing as a company have had, if I will give a case study for Drive Electric, when you talk about socio-economic impact, we look at women, the youth, and the people living with disabilities. And so for the women, I would say, I'm happy to say we have 2 lady drivers who are actually competing with the rest of the male drivers in the taxi business, and they're bringing revenue, as should be. People with disabilities, we have 3. And it doesn't mean that in as much as they are disabled, they're not able to work. It's just that we know, we discuss on how to accommodate each other. So I think they're also accommodated. Looking at our staff at Drive Electric, when I consider a population of 70 staff, 70% of our staff are below age 35, and actually many are below 30, meaning the youth are involved. We empower. We believe the young minds are quickly to adopt to technology change and improve as compared to the older ones. So in as much as we are suffering the issue of poaching and everything, we've still learned to accept that the young minds are agile and can move quickly. There was another question on the repurposing repairs and if there's a regime for inspection. What I would say, for the fleet that we currently have, they are just subjected to the normal NTSA inspection that is done on a yearly basis. So there's not been any specific EV trademarked inspection that they are using, unless I'm corrected. And also, I'm looking forward to our team leader attending a meeting with the KEBS that is scheduled in Naivasha, I suppose. And some of the things that are going to be discussed are some of these standards that we need to look at. So I hope from that meeting we can get a way forward. Internally, we do monthly inspection of SOH. We have our able fleet manager, Winnie, who actually has a team of technicians who frequently on a monthly basis track to see the performances of the specific batteries. The reason why we are doing this still is because it's not that Emobility solution has been fully fledged outside there. So we still need to learn from these reports that we get. So they are exciting graphs that have been drawn, and they're able to tell us several things on even how depreciation is happening in terms of usage and the driver characteristics. So
All
that
right.
is it.
Thank you so much, and sorry for curtailing you. I know we had many questions from the audience. I urge all of you to interact with the panelists after this session. I'm told there's a cocktail somewhere here. Go find them, chit-chat, and get responses to your question. Thank you so much to our panelists, and thank you all for participating in this session. A round of applause for them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, let's appreciate